want to go. All right. Finally, we made it. So we're live. Welcome everyone to the very first session of our monthly migration series. As the title says, this is all about our SAP Community Migration. And we want to ensure that the migration is as smooth and as easy as possible for you. So that's why we have this very first session today, out of many coming up soon, to have ensured that everything is understandable from your perspective before, during, and after our migration. So this session today is basically about giving you an overview, the reasoning behind our migration and the strategy, the migration announcement from my manager, Cmehil, here on the call, who's going to present to you today. And of course, new user experience, the new UI that just went live today in our groups, all the new features that we have with that new UI and the differences that we have in comparison to our current community platform. And of course, this call is definitely for you to address questions. We're here on YouTube, streaming live, so every one of you should be logged into YouTube to be able to use the chat. The chat, I will monitor the chat, and this is our Q&A space where I will address any question, any feedback, any thoughts, anything basically to Craig while he is presenting. So we try to pick your questions as they come and address as many as possible. Next slide, please. So as I said, this is a quick overview of all the sessions that we'll offer coming up the next couple of months, really to make everything clear to you, to make it understandable to you, to address questions that you have, and to learn from one another on how we can improve. Yeah, without further ado, I'll hand it now over to Craig to get started.
All right. Thank you so much, Lena. Very happy to be here and very happy to share with a lot of you about what's going on, where we are, and why we're making some changes. So greetings to Bogota. I see that there's somebody from Bogota in the chat already. So greetings to you. Greetings to Washington, D.C. as well. So why are we doing what we're doing? And the answer is actually pretty simple. We've outgrown. The community is so awesome, so robust, so amazing that in the past 20 years, we have had to make so many changes to accommodate that growth. And we've outgrown several of the elements that we've put recently in place, as in the last 5-6 years. And so we've made the choice, the decision to move to a purpose-built community platform. And that is from a vendor called Khoros. And Khoros is a leading industry vendor in terms of community-built platforms. And so that's what we've been actually using already today since actually October 2021. With our groups environment. So if you've already been inside of the SAP community and you've been to the groups area, that's the actual platform. And that's where we've made already some of the UI changes and the enhance the experience there already for everybody that we'll be talking about a little bit later in the call. But this platform is Khoros. It's based on a company called Khoros. This is their platform, and that's what we're choosing to use, and that's what we're exploring here. And we've had such great success with it since October of 2021 that we've decided it's time to move all of our content over. And of course, with this, we're also doing like many of the other SAP digital platforms and the events like Sapphire, or if you've already registered for TechEd, that's fantastic. If you haven't registered for TechEd, highly recommend that you do register, whether it's for the virtual event or the physical in-person event as well. We're very excited about that. And what we're doing is we're adopting the universal ID from SAP. And what this universal ID is, so if you've been in the SAP space for a while, if you work at a customer or a partner location, you have more than one S-user ID or more than one login based on the different productive systems that you have. The universal ID is there to enable you to fully function from one area of SAP to the other using a single login and being able to take advantage of all those multiple different accounts that you might possibly have. And then, of course, right now, if you've been active in the community over many years and you have more than one account, where you're also able to merge all your content together under one. And so we're really excited about all that to happen. But we also want to remind everybody that with the launch in December, with the migration in December, we will be fully 100% universal ID. So everybody needs to get that universal ID sorted out now before we get to December. So we're here for you. If you have questions about that, you can also, ping, and SAP is providing support for everybody to be able to get into their universal ID. All right, next slide, please. All right, so what does our timeline look like? Again, October 2021, we launched with the Groups platform. We've been exploring and working with it now for quite a while. We're pretty excited about it. We've done a lot of expansion there. If you're in the partner space and you have a partner login, you can, of course, see all the partner areas within the SAP community in that Groups environment. But also, you can look at our events listings. You can look at all the various different things that we have there. So a lot to see and do already today. And of course, in December, all of our Q&A and our blogging content will be migrated into that platform as well. So that's the full work has started. We are now at the first set of user testing and the second set of user testing that helped to alter and create the design that's now available in that Groups environment today. And then, of course, we announced just a couple of weeks ago, it hasn't been that long, we finally announced that we are going to be doing this. And then we announced also these initial calls, and that's what you're on today. You're on the first initial call. And then between September and December, we're going to be doing these live monthly sessions in order to get everybody familiar, offer an opportunity for anybody to ask any questions that they have. We'll try to address everything that we can. If we can't address it during the call live, we will take it back into the community, into the discussion thread that we've started in order to address any of those questions after the fact if we don't get to it during the call. With luck, we'll be able to get to everything. And of course, we also announced the Universal ID, and there's a blog post about that as well that you'll be able to get to and read more about Universal ID and how it all works. And then, of course, December 2023 is the big date. This is the date where the community will be in a offline read-only style mode for a set period of time. More details will come as we go through all of our different technical migration testing to be able to fine-tune and figure out that time frame. We'll be announcing that. We'll be sharing that with everybody as we go. But in December, it will happen. The existing Q&A and the existing blogging environments will go away. The existing homepage will go away. Some of our resource areas, resource pages where we have a lot of helpful information, tips and tricks and all that will also be migrated in. And then that will all be available to everybody within the new platform starting in December. Topic pages, things like that, things that you're maybe looking at and familiar with, those will still be there. They will get a new look and feel, so they will change a little bit, but the content will still be available. The URLs will all still be there. Appropriate redirects will all be put in place and everything like that. So it's going to be a very, very busy December for us, but we're excited for this and we think it's going to be fantastic. And then, of course, following up in 2024, we will continue with monthly calls, helping everybody get there, and we will continue with user testing because in the second half of next year, the plan is to actually upgrade this current version of the environment that we're using to their newest one that they are releasing themselves. So we're really excited for that and all the features and the opportunities that will bring for us. All right, next slide, please. So sign up, subscribe, and engage. The best way to get ready for this is, of course, to actually start actively using the Groups environment that we have today. Groups environments have a lot of great stuff on it. Whether you're following the SAP Tech Ed, you can go to the SAP Tech Ed group. Whether you're active in one of the location-based areas, so we have different city locations like Newtown Square, Dallas, Munich. We have different ones available, and you are welcome to join and talk to other local folks in your area. We also have groups specific to enterprise architecture, information architecture, application development. So you can see all the developer challenges happening in the application development space. And of course, Devtoberfest, which just launched this week. So absolutely doing phenomenal already. And they've only been live for like a day and a half. There's a Devtoberfest group. And to participate in Devtoberfest, the contest rules and everything are there. Super simple. Just join the Devtoberfest group. And then you can already start getting involved. I'm already on the leaderboard. So there's your benchmark that you have to do. You have to beat me on the leaderboard. And that's your first challenge to all of you. We also have the Welcome Corner. The Welcome Corner is a perfect way to introduce yourself, say hello to the community, ask questions about the migration, comment about the migration, etc. And we just launched a brand new What's New area that you can actually subscribe to. You can comment on, you can like, and these are where we're going to be sharing going forward all the new things coming in the community, new features, new functionality, changes, all sorts of things like that. And in fact, just a little tip, there's a brand new group going to be launching next week that I think a lot of you will be really excited to see and to get involved with. I won't spoil what the name of that group is yet, but I can guarantee you it's going to be an interesting one. And that's all stuff that you'll be able to find with the What's New and everything like that going forward. So once it launches, we'll be sharing that in the What's New as well. All right, so next slide. All right, so feature highlights. What's live today? Today we have discussion. Right? So you can discuss, you can converse, you can interact next to and together with all of your different peers in the space. We have activities like Devtoberfest and SAP Tech Ed taking place. We have event listings where you can subscribe to the event calendars, you can subscribe to the different events, you can RSVP that you're going to go or not. There are location-based groups like the Dallas and the Newtown Square that I just mentioned, as well as interest-based groups like our Career Corner and SAP Learning. So if you're interested in learning journeys and learning and education, you can go there and ask your questions around all of that. And of course, we have our Career Corner where job postings can be published from partners, from customers, and of course from SAP, all in that space. So definitely stay tuned in that area and subscribe to those to get new information on what's coming and what's not. All right. And then of course, by the end of this year, in December, we will be live and fully 100% there, starting on January 1st with our Q&A, the blogging and everything like that together with our groups. So a lot of things will be expanding inside of that space that you see today under groups.community.sp.com. Our new homepage will exist there as well as some of the other, like our tag pages will actually switch over to there as well. So a lot of stuff that you'll be able to see and do inside of these spaces. All right, next one. All right, so new design highlights. So this is a lot to take in. And if you haven't already looked at groups.community.sap.com, the changes, the UI changes actually went live today, round about midday here in Europe. It was morning on the East Coast, very early morning for the West Coast, and of course evening for Asia Pacific. But there's a lot of new things there. I won't read through everything there. I'll just talk a little bit. You can take a look at the screen, but there's a bunch of things that did happen. So it's a brand new modernized UI. The site banner announcements are a little bit crisper and cleaner to read. We've removed some of the images and things like that to really bring a lot of the content in right in front of you. So you can see a lot more detail just by going to the site. You don't have to scroll as much as you were before. We're streamlining a lot of the different icons and things like that, bringing it more in line with some of the other digital properties from SAP so that you have a more custom or more consolidated experience and that you're really able to navigate much quicker because it's a more familiar environment. We will have more and more of the leaderboards and things like that going into place. Things that'll come with the migration, of course, will be the new dynamic homepage, a lot more information made available, a lot more focus on the user-generated content for all of you. And then, of course, we're moving some of the buttons and things around based on the user testing, like the join will be a little bit more clear. It'll be also across more of the different areas within a specific group. Kudo button is a lot quicker and easier to access and things like that. And of course, the whole idea is to just make this much more enjoyable experience. And so far, the information that we've had today since the launch, which was roughly 4 hours ago, has actually been fantastic. A lot of people are commenting that they like it. They like the type ahead search features and the being able to search across the platform much more easily and everything like that. So we're pretty excited for it. We hope you are as well. If you've seen it, if you've already looked at it, if you've already logged in, I'd love to see like a thumbs up in the chat, just to let us know that you've all seen it already and that what do you think about it? So that would be really cool as well to see.
Quick question from
Yes.
Mike in the chat. He was asking about a process to get a new group created or formed. What's the process for it?
All right, it's very simple. If you're looking to create a group for your particular city, all you have to do is email us at community@sap.com and just let us know that's what you're looking to do, and then we'll follow up with setup to just clarify a few things, get more information from you, talk to you about expectations and everything like that, and then if everything works out, we would then basically create a new group for your city.
Perfect. I'll share the email in the chat, and Mohammed actually said here in the chat as well that it looks nice and cleaner.
Awesome. Great to hear. We're excited for it as well. The user testing has added so much value for us in terms of being able to optimize that user experience. And we have additional rounds of user testing happening and everything like that. And we'll be continuing to do that for the next foreseeable future, for sure, just so we can continue to optimize. All right, next slide. All right, so what are we expecting with the migration? So now there's a couple of things that we want to make sure that we clarify because we're not there yet with the migration. For example, the menu across the top of our existing community site, community.sap.com, and of course, the menu atop the cross of the groups environment is slightly different. Now, the reason for this and the reason that it is slightly different is simply because we haven't synchronized them yet. They will be synchronized with the migration, and of course, we will be using the same familiar menu, which you see on the existing community.sap.com today. And that is the black bar where it has the different menu options. And of course, it has the Explore option. And that Explore option is where you can then dance and jump around to all the other different SAP or SAP properties like SAP.com, Help, Portal, Support, Learning, and etc. All right. Now, what this means for us, though, is that with the migration, we've got a lot of merging and connecting to do. And if we can jump to the next slide, we'll give you a sneak peek of what to expect, including what types of areas to expect with the migration of the community. So today, when you look at the community, you see answers and you see blogs. So we base it on content type and we go from there. With the migration, we're actually going to be adding in categories. And those categories, you can see them on the screen in front of you today. We have CRM, ERP, finance, HCM, PLM, supply chain management, spend management, technology platform. So we're going to have these 8 major categories. And these are categories that you can jump into. So if you're primarily focused in the spend management area, you'll be able to jump into the spend management area, consume the blog posts there from SAP, the blog posts from members, and of course, ask your questions and answer questions in that environment. So we're already going to create a bit of a structure there that we don't have today in order to just make life easier for a lot of individuals. All right, and then the next one, next slide. As you can see here, this is then how the groups get integrated into this. So we'll have the activities, we're adding in industry groups, we'll have the regional location-based groups, we'll have our interest-based groups. There will also be a subset for the SuccessFactors user groups that they also have that we're using and have inside the same platform as well. And of course, we have our own influence and feedback areas as well, where different individuals are invited, whether it's SAP champions, SAP mentors, TMC champions, or ISBN global advocates. So a lot of different groups and other subgroups that are being brought into this space. making as much as possible a collective experience for all parties involved. All right, then of course, across the top, we'll continue to have our partners, the events, the topics, and of course, our About Us area, resource area, where you can find out more information and everything like that. All right, next slide, please. All right, and then we're here for questions and feedback. So by all means, please use the chat, talk to us, let us know what's going on. Ask your questions, provide your feedback. Like I said, the new design's been live for a few hours already today. So if you have any feedback or comments or suggestions there, we'd love to hear them. We are in the middle of the migration, so we're not going to be able to necessarily do everything that everybody's asking for or suggesting, but we'll do our best, of course. So with that, we'll open it up to questions and feedback. And I think we had some questions in the platform already. I think, Stacy, you even put some of those into a slide already. Yes, so badges and kudos, will it carry over our kudos and missions? Yes, we are going to make sure that everybody gets credit and of course the acknowledgement for any badge that they've already won. But the thing to keep in mind is this is a purpose-built platform that has its own gamification reputation system. So we're not going to necessarily be able to carry over every current badge that we are running as a one-to-one environment. So for example, Swift solvers or fan badge or fireball or things like that, we may not be able to take them over one-to-one. So those things, so what we're going to do is we're going to give a snapshot of credit in time for where you are today. That will also impact on what we call the rank ladder. This is a functionality of the system where users can actually move up a rank and earn additional permissions and privileges as they move up those ranks. So we'll be applying all your existing reputation and earnings to both the badge system, to where you'll still get credit for those badges, but then also we'll be applying that in the rank ladder so that you'll already start off at a midpoint or higher level or something like that based on your current activities today. And then what we're going to do is we're going to start net new badges to fully take advantage of the overall platform and system. All right, in terms of blogging, in the current community, we were discouraged to re-edit blogs after publishing them. Will Khoros provide a new document targeted for these evergreen, I'm not sure if that's the right word, in terms of overall documents. So the idea is, do we have the ability to have a publishing system or publishing content type in the environment that is other than a blog post that allows for maintaining over time? The short answer is yes, the system does have this. However, we are not 100% fully versed in what the full capabilities of it are, and we are currently testing it in our partner area today. So if you're in the partner area, you'll be familiar with these, the release readiness and everything like this. However, we're not yet there that we want to roll it out to the full overall SAP community. All right, another question on blogging is, of course, can the same blog post be authored by more than one author? Very often we actually have this as a request of co-authors and everything like that. The platform does actually allow for co-authoring. However, it's not as straightforward as we were actually thinking, right? It's there, but it requires some tweaking and things done differently with blogging than what we are used to today. And because we're making a lot of changes already and we're doing the migration and we're bringing everything over, we want to make sure that we get everything over first, and then we'll re-look at this as a possibility in 2024. All right. Any other questions there that we had? Yes. Questions. So content. Will content be shared with product management or development? So a lot of you are familiar with the influence.sap.com site, and a lot of people are aware that it's actually not being used as heavily today anymore. It's actually being shut down. So we are working with those teams to figure out overall what can we or what will we be doing with the Khoros environment in the future. So stay tuned for that. There's more stuff to come in that area. Ideas is something that we actually have available as a content type within the platform, but we're not sure how we want as a company, how SAP wants to collect all of this feedback for product management and development. Is there any freeze? Yes, there will be a freeze. The freeze will occur in December. Specific dates, we'll share those once we have them. Right now, what we're doing is we're doing a lot of test migration, technical test migrations and everything like that, that we are going to then be able to use to determine the actual length of time that we will have to have a freeze in place. Because during the migration, both the existing platform and of course the new platform will have to be in a read-only mode. So no changes can occur while we're doing the migration of the content over, so everything goes in properly. For those of you who have done implementations and everything, basic same concept. So right now we're just trying to determine exactly the length of time that we need to block and be ready for. All right. Managed tag pages. Yes, the managed tag pages are there. You can actually see them today. So if you go into the group environment, and so for example, if you go in and type in SAP Business, it'll also, as you do the type ahead, it'll actually show you a product. And then the first one is usually the business technology platform. You can click it and it will load up the managed tag page for the SAP Business Technology Platform, which these tag pages you can subscribe to, and you can see the content for SAP BTP, for example, across the entire platform and community. All right. All old content. Google indexing, yes, we're taking care for everything related to search, SEO, all the things, all the links, all the redirects, everything is being looked at, and this of course goes to the next question as well. Will old links continue to work? Yes, we're putting in a ton of redirect options and everything like that to make sure we don't lose anything along the way. All right. Any other questions that we had pre-added, Stacy?
I have one from the chat, actually.
Ah, okay. And what's the one from the chat?
Okay. Have we developed anything with SAP UI5? So the comment before that question was, it looks like work zone standard. And the subsequent question then was, have developed anything with SAP UI5?
Well, yes. I mean, as a company, we of course have developed with SAP UI5, but we are not using SAP UI5 in the community platform as part of the development.
I think that answered the question.
All right.
No other questions other than comments that it looks great.
Well, that's fantastic here, and we really appreciate that feedback. It's really good for us to get the feedback. We want to hear the feedback. We want to work with the feedback as best as possible. So if you have feedback, please share it. If you don't want to share it during the live session, you're welcome to add it to the chat as well, to the discussion in the community. So yeah, just let us know.
I also share a discussion thread link here in the chat that is specifically for this first session of our monthly migration series. So if there's anything for anyone who's listening to the recording of this YouTube live where questions come up to the content that Craig shared in this call, this last link that I shared in the chat here is the place to go to address questions directly to this content. And we will also share the slide deck and the link to the YouTube recording on our groups on community.
All right, and just as a reminder for some of you who are in the chat, if you're trying to put a comment in that might have a link in it, that could be blocked. As a channel owner, we're able to add links, but into the chat itself, if you're trying to put something that has a link, it might be being blocked. Just FYI there in case you've been trying to add something and it's not showing up. All right.
All right. I think there's no more questions. Again, we'd appreciate feedback. Let us know. There's a second same session coming up in 5 hours.
5 or 6 hours, yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
it'll be roughly around midnight CET. Yeah, but we'll be here. We're here for you. We'll also have that recorded as well. Same content will be presented, but of course, because it's recorded and everything like that, any questions or something like that could be interesting for you as well. We're not going to hang out for a whole hour if nobody has any questions. That's the brilliant thing about live streams. We can stop when we're done. And then, yes, at 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time or 3 p.m. Pacific Standard Time or midnight Central European Standard Time, we will be back for the next round. So we look forward to talking and seeing you then.
See you later. Take care, everyone. Thanks for coming in. Bye.